Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this opening ceremony of the 16th European Association for Commonwealth Literature and Language Studies. It is my pleasure and a great honor for the University of Oviedo to have the opportunity to holding this important meeting here in Asturias. I have a few women around. So the first, I want to give the floor to Isabel Carrera Suarez, which is the chair of the conference. So I have to blast the microphone also.
Thank you very much, Rector. Good morning. Welcome to Oviedo and to this 16th Eaclals conference. We've all pledged to brevity in this opening address, but let me first say that it's a true pleasure to see you all here, finally sharing this physical and symbolic space with us, this historical building of the university, where learning, thinking, and even a revolution or two have taken place. Thank you for joining us, for traveling from distant homes, and for the work and enthusiasm that we know you've invested in your participation. We know you'll make this conference memorable. Our theme, Performing the Urban, attempts to foreground the human side of cities, their performative aspects and the people who bring them to life. All those who, in Henri Lefebvre's words, have a right to the city, in these times of urban expulsions, to use Saskia Sassen's words. Your contributions to the conference illuminate the variety of ways in which that human intervention takes place. We've composed the program combining the tradition of English and Commonwealth literature studies with the wider concerns of post-coloniality, and given our location, we've also looked especially towards the Hispanic and its contact zones with the Anglophone, their theorizing and creativity. We hope the close encounters held here will spark new critical thought. It is now 21 years since we organized our first Eaclals conference. Here in this very building, in a very rainy atmosphere, so we're luckier today, aided by an unforgettable group of students and very young lecturers, many now turned brilliant researchers and university professors. Post-colonial studies in Spain, then incipient, have expanded, changed, and matured, and I think we can safely say that Oviedo has played a crucial part in this consolidation. Several prodigal daughters are here with us today, arrived from the universities where they now teach and disseminate knowledge themselves. I must thank Liamar Duran, who convenes the conference with me, for having the insight at Innsbruck 2014 to suggest Oviedo as the next venue. But my thanks have to extend to her intelligence, her amazing capacity for work, and her faultless organizing skills. We've had the benefit of our supportive colleagues from the research group Intersecciones and the support also from Translit, and a new extraordinary group of postgraduate students whom you'll meet throughout the week and whose generosity and good humor have kept us going. We hope you like the result of our collective effort. I cannot end without thanking the Eaclals board, whose members have been wonderfully efficient and encouraging. Laura, Veronica, Petra, Jeff, and most particularly its president, Helga Ramsey-Kurtz, who gave unfailing support. Thank you to our few surviving sponsors at a time when crisis seems to have wiped them all off the face of the earth. Their aid is most appreciated. We could not have organized this conference without the financial support awarded to our research group by the regional government, thank you, the Spanish Research and Development Agency, and our own university. And finally, we could not hold it without you all. A huge thanks to all plenary speakers, writers, and performers for your truly generous acceptance of our invitations, with no financial gain, I'm afraid. To all participants, welcome, bienvenidas, bienvenidos. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Isabel, for bringing this meeting to our university. And next to address you is Emilia Duran, Lamar Duran. She is the younger chair of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to start by welcoming you all to Oviedo and the university and wish you a good stay with us in the following days. I would also want to start by thanking the authorities for their presence. First, the rector of the University of Oviedo for supporting the celebration of this 16th Triennial Eaclals conference in this venue, and also the General Director of Universities for making room in her busy schedule to accompany us at this inaugural session. I must also express my gratitude to the guest speakers and performers who kindly accepted our invitation to participate in the conference that is about to start. And of course to the more than 130 delegates who have taken long trips from all around the world to be in Oviedo this week to share their insights on the ways in which the urban is performed throughout the post-colonial world in different artistic and cultural manifestations. Established and emerging scholars explore in the talks such suggestive issues as post-humanist performances, failed and fractured cities, post-pastoral ecotones, effective urban spaces, precarious urbanities, or embodied encounters in a variety of genres, including slam poetry, visual arts, films, and of course, literatures. It is truly a privilege to take part in these most stimulating conversations, so thank you. As Professor Carrera mentioned in her brief speech, this is the second time that an Eaclals Triennial Conference is held at the University of Oviedo, and this fact speaks of, on the one hand, the long tradition of post-colonial and Commonwealth studies in the Department of English Studies, initiated by Professors Isabel Carrera Suárez and Socorro Suárez Lafuente, the organizers of the 1996 event. And this time, led by Professor Isabel Carrera Suárez, a group of her disciples in the research group Intersections are in charge of organizing this new edition. Some of them already senior scholars themselves, but many still in the early stages of their academic careers, which evidences the vitality of the field in our department. Thank you all for your hard work in the past weeks and in the days to come. I must also give special thanks to Isabel Carrera for sharing her knowledge, enthusiasm, and experience in putting together this exciting program, and for trusting me as a co-convener of this Eaclals Triennial Conference. And I will then just finish by welcoming you again, all to Oviedo, hoping that you will enjoy the guest lectures, performances, roundtables, literary readings, and oral communications, and social program activities that are part of this 16th Triennial Eaclals Conference on the title, Performing the Urban, Embodiments, Inventories, Rhythms. Thank you.
Thank you, Liamar. And now is the time for the president, the Professor Helga Ramsey-Kurt, and she was here last year, and he told me I talk about hospitality, and I hope this promise was really fulfilled by the university.
Absolutely,
So,
yes.
Thank you. It's your time.
Good morning, everyone. Director General of the University, Cristina Valdes, Rector Garcia Granda, thank you for receiving us, the European Association for Commonwealth Literature and Language Studies, here in this magnificent building at the heart of your beautiful city. In the 46 years of its existence, Eaclals has held conferences in 15 different places across Europe. Oviedo is the first to which it returns, and returns gladly with fond and grateful memories of the brilliant conference Isabel Carrera hosted here in Asturias in 1996. Invited speakers and performers, members friends of Eaclals, thank you for making your way to this triennial meeting and bringing with you the products of your work on the urban and its myriad manifestations. Thank you for breaking your daily, weekly rhythms and leaving other obligations to come and contribute to this event, which has been under careful construction for months, indeed years now, to explode into a performance proper in the next days. Isabel and Liamar, thank you for setting us to work on such a fascinating theme, performing the urban embodiments, inventories, rhythms, and for putting all your expertise, energy, and enthusiasm into shaping the program we are now holding in our hands. It is a fabulous and exciting program, and it serves special praise for the room you have given to what has been, I think, the most defining ambition of Eaclals and Eaclals since its inception, namely the encounter with literature and other art forms, not just on the page, but in the flesh, in the person. This ambition has become increasingly difficult to sustain, not only but also due to growing pressures on academics to mind their own performance. I'm proud to be chair of an association that aspires to more and would like to extend a special invitation to our new members to experience this more here in Oviedo, this genuine interest in exchange. Please feel part of it and enjoy the diverse opportunities of encounter created by Isabel and Liamar and their formidable organizing committee. As our association is fast approaching the 50th anniversary of its foundation in 1971, it is a most promising sign that so many early career researchers have chosen to participate in this triennial event. Liamar and Isabel received nearly 80 abstracts from postgraduate scholars, and a considerable number of them were also submitted with an application for the Eaclals Triennial Travel Grant. Unfortunately, we could not award a grant to every one of them, but I would like to thank them all and briefly call up and congratulate those 7 chosen by our jury. Sohini Banerjee from the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Katja Gyuris from the Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest. Chelsea Hayes from Rhodes University. Samantha Reeve Holland, independent scholar from Manchester. Alice Michel from the University of Orléans. Astrid Schwegler-Castagnier from the University of the Balearic Island, and Hayley Todd from Leeds. We come to conferences for a chance to share our thoughts, for new ideas and inspiration, and for fresh air away from the everyday. I wish you that you find all of this in abundance during our days together here in Oviedo. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you also for bringing your meeting here in Oviedo. Nes is our General Director of Universities and Research, the Principality of Asturias, Cristina Valdés Rodríguez, which is also Professor on Humanities. microphone for you.
Thank you. Rector, Professor Carrera, Professor Ramsey Kurtz, Dr. Brown, colleagues and friends, good morning and welcome to the Principality of Asturias. I'm delighted to welcome you on behalf of the Government of Asturias, and I thank the organisers for the invitation to attend this opening session. It is a real honour to have the opportunity to address this academic community, which is part of the European Association for Commonwealth Literature and Language Studies. And I am particularly pleased that you've chosen Asturias for your gathering for various reasons. First of all, because our principality, although it is quite a small region, it is frequently absorbed in local tensions, but still has historically shown a strong international vocation. And in this internationalization program, the University of Oviedo has played an active role, with many research groups involved in projects and activities such as this conference. The regional government has the obligation to support and encourage all these initiatives as much as possible to always facilitate the exchange of experiences, knowledge, perspectives, and people. We are fully aware that the local and the global are not incompatible, and different examples of tensions in urban settings will be approached in your presentations these days, so that the conference will be an enriching source of creative and academic proposals to overcome those tensions. The second reason has to do with the conference itself, and it has been organized by some of our most committed scholars in the region, always bringing innovation and excellence to the disciplines of language, literature, and culture, and at the same time promoting interdisciplinary relations within the regional, national, and international spheres. Likewise, I would like to sincerely congratulate the group Intersecciones, and Translit for the organization of this conference and for so many other initiatives that contribute to placing Asturias on the academic map. The third reason is a more personal one, as I can still remember participating in the organization of the Eaclals conference held in Oviedo in 1996, when this same group of remarkable scholars gave us, students and citizens, the chance to hear some of the most prestigious voices in the field of world literatures, post-colonial studies, language and translation. As some of us found inspiration to carry out our research from scholars like Gayatri Spivak, for example, I do wish you all the same journey towards inspiration some 20 years later. Finally, I can only wish you a memorable stay in Asturias, both as an academic and as a human experience, and some nice weather to enjoy our landscape, history, and character. I do hope you enjoy our local culture and take it in the form of memories to your global origins. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Christina. As I said, welcome to this 16th Triennial Conference of Eaclals. I don't know how to pronounce this difficult acronym. As I said at the beginning, the University of Oviedo is very pleased to hold such a prestigious meeting, not only because it brings excellent researchers to our home, but also because it brings with it an important area of research. World literatures and post-colonial studies, areas in which groups in the University of Oviedo have been contributing solidly for several decades. In the present international moment, it is particularly crucial that the specialists from all fields should collaborate to create a world where cultural difference is understood and negotiated, where the complexity of this interaction is recognized, and where the term global may finally come to have only positive meanings. The specific subject of the conference, Reforming the Urban, is particularly attractive because it reminds us that so much human interaction takes place in the cities, as it does in our town, we hope so, of Oviedo itself. The program that the organizers have put together combines examples of that performance in different spaces in Oviedo. I hope there will be an enjoyable experience for you. But above all, of course, I hope you feel welcome and fully appreciate the events and discussion held in the university itself, both at the Humanities campus and in this historical building. The University of Oviedo, although a very close link to the history and society of our region in Asturias, has always had the strong international vocation, both in the area of research and in this as a general perspective of our organization. We intend to fulfill the mandate of serving the region in education and research, but also to maintain a constant dialogue and exchange with the world. That is one of the reasons why we are named universities. A conference like this satisfies that double vocation and physically brings to our university a diversity of international thought. The organizers of the conference, the research group Intersections, they will translate again intersecciones, have a long experience of international exchanges, programs and ideas, a practice that enriches their knowledge and their educational capacities. I have to say as rector that we are very proud of this group of people doing research in this area, putting this university in the world. This opening morning shows our local, global, and local practice with most excellent transnational keynote speaker. I've seen her in the front, Professor May Yang Ang. I'm sorry about the pronunciation. Distinguished Professor of Cultural Studies of the Sydney University in Australia. And our very local, yet most international photojournalist, which is in the back making pictures, Javier Bauluz, whose exhibition you can also see in the cloister. With more than 150 papers and writers and performers from all over the world, the program seems highly stimulating. And I'm sure you are now beginning a great academic experience. At least I hope so. On behalf of the academic community, which I represent as rector of this university, I wish you a very effective exchange of knowledge and a memorable and, I would say, comfortable stay in Asturias, in Oviedo. Encourage you to repeat the experience and return to Asturias soon in the future. Thank you very much. But this is not the end, because after that, Isabel Carrera is going to show you something interesting. So thank you, and we go with Isabel.
Okay, well, to finish, we've prepared a little surprise, a homage to those of you or those who were here 20 years ago, and a bit of history for those who were not. Okay, are we having technical problems? Because, so a bit of history also, because nothing begins with a void, okay? And because, as an Argentinian tango says, 20 años no es nada, 20 years is nothing. Or maybe they are a lot. So for the good times past and the good times future, here is our little homage to our past conference.
For she's a snake in the grass. But still, she's your mother. And our Savior says, honor thy father and mother. I'm feeling very old these days, and I would like to see you and get to know my grandson-in-law before he gathers me onto his bosom. Write soon and be nice to your mother when she comes, even though it will be hard. Same, Grandma Scotty.
And if the law could make it legal for donors and recipients to interchange organs freely, irrespective of color, and hence change white recipients into non-white people, then would the law not be guilty of committing an immoral act according to itself? My mind went on pondering the absurdities and contradictions in this whole matter. It should have been discussed, I thought. And I said to myself, after all, they sit with their white parliament, in their white parliament, and discuss whether a white hand may or may not shake a non-white heart. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Miriam Tlali.
But the welcome that we received from our neighbour up there on another 10 acres, they had 10 acres, you might like to hear her welcome to me. I called this neighbour woman on the fencing wire. She used to come and lean on the fence and tell me things. So here she comes. There are in fact 3 little poems from her. So you've bought this place. Well, let me tell you straight away, your soil's no good. All salt, even 160 feet down, and up on the slopes is outcrops of granite and dead stumps of dead wood. Nothing will grow there, we know, we've tried. What the crows don't take, the rabbits and bandicoots will have. Your creek floods in winter, and in summer it's dried. The water's all salt there too. Your sheep will either starve or drown. And if a calf gets spawn, it'll not be able to get up. That's the kind of place this is. And what's more, you've poison weed all over your block. So if you put stock, you'll lose the lot. And another thing, there was a snake on our place last year. And it shot through into yours, and I dare say it's still there. And where there's one snake, there's sure to be another. And there's been some terrible accidents round here. Only last week, a man just married a week, thought he'd fix his roof and fell through the rafters, and his wife, only a young thing, found him hanging dead. And then there was that pig, ate a woman's baby, right in front of her door. Mind you, I always say, and then she stopped there.
That Māori girl's a radical, you know. She doesn't like men, and she doesn't like whites. Her hair's too short. She doesn't wear skirts. She's a radical. That Māori girl's a radical. All that stuff about the treaty, saying land should go back to them, that whites are trying to kill her. Other Maoris don't think like that. I work with this Māori guy, and he's perfectly happy working for me, for the firm. He owns a car. He owns a house, even got a Pākehā wife. Not like her. Bet she's one of those lesies, needs a bloody good.
And always there are the books, the books we have read and written, riding in our baggage, boxes of books with pages and covers and inevitable words, and Anna Rutherford driving all the way from Denmark to Austria through Europe in her Australian Jeep with a kangaroo in her back seat, and boxes of books and periodicals, Kunapipi and Dangaroo Press under her gas pedal, she would get the words to the places they belonged, and yes, she would unhide them. And so I want to say that conferences as sites of intellectual exchange, as the cultural shock and recognition, wonderful contamination and transfusions of ideas, that swirl and dance of language and laughter, of food and drink and late nights and early mornings, and I'm sure that the Grand Inquisitor who sits in the middle of the square at the university, hearing us milling around the foot of his throne, I'm sure he has been this last week turning in his seat. But Isabel, Socorro, and all of the graduate students, everyone who has helped to make this such a pleasurable, such an intensely learning experience for all of us, we have been translated. Thank you.
Writing is a kind of fidgeting. That word announces the physical nature of writing. One is nervously restless. Stop fidgeting, my mother used to tell me. Usually when I was in the presence of an institution that was telling me what to do. School, the law, the church, a graduating ceremony. I fidgeted apparently at a very early age and never got over it. To fidget allows one to be in the presence of something and to be opposed to it at the same time. Little did I realize I was being trained to be a post-colonial writer.
But I think I might
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Isabel, for bringing us these memories. I hope in 20 years' time we will get something similar. And on the other side, you look the same than in 20 years. So it's almost, we are almost getting the end of this ceremony, and I think I should say I declare open the 16th European Association, Commonwealth Literature, and so on meeting. And I hope you enjoy and you work a lot in this meeting. Thank you very much.